What's up, family? Recession is in the headlines. Look, there are two dates that come to mind when I think of a recession, right? 2008, the Great Recession, and the 2020 COVID-19 recession. Listen, there's a lot of talks, going back and forth about the recession. But what would happen if we do actually enter into a recession? Let's get into it. Look, the definition of a recession is when we have the GDP that declines for 2 quarters in a row. All right. That really shows signs that the economy is shrinking. But we have to understand what really happens when we have a shrinking economy. That means that one, we're not spending money. All right. And two, something has to happen to stimulate the economy. So let me share something. Let me share something really quick. All right. So first and foremost, all right, over the last 6 recessions. So we're talking about 1980, 1981, 1991, 2001, 2008, and the COVID-19 recession in 2020. There were only 2 recessions where home values actually declined. All right. The Great Recession was, of course, the 2008 recession. We had home values that declined at 19.7%. There were some other variables that caused such a decline in home values. But if you look at all the other recessions, right, we're talking about 1980, home values increased 6.1%. In 1981, home values declined 1.9%. But in 2020, home values increased 6%. Now, if we understand what a recession means, meaning the economy is slowing down, in order to, right, stimulate the economy, we're going to do what? Cut interest rates. So if you look at history, all right, and this is the difference between, headlines and actual facts and data. When you look at history, you can see that over the last 6 recessions, right, every recession, interest rates was cut. So there's not a doubt in my mind that interest rates will be cut should we enter into a recession, which we are headed into, right? It's not a doubt in my mind interest rates will be cut. But the question is, what will happen to home values, right? My prediction is this. There's a small window of opportunity right now for buyers to be able to get incentives, right? Get all type of incentives when it comes to having favorable buying power when negotiating deals, right? Price and also concessions from sellers right now. And once interest rates are dropped and you have buyers with more buying power, then I expect the demand to increase and history to repeat itself and show another increase in home values during this time of a recession, right? Headlines can be very misleading, and we have to understand the difference between, again, data, headlines, for, what do you call it, clickbait, and real facts, right? Because the decisions that we make during this time, of course, it affects our financial well-being. So I really want to know you guys' thoughts about the actual recession itself. And what are you guys' expectations, or what do you guys predict will happen to home values? Do you think the housing market will crash similar to what you see the stock market is doing? Look, I would love to know. I would love to get your thoughts in the comments. What do you think will happen should we enter into a recession? There's a lot of people on the fence waiting it out, expecting home values to drop should we enter into a recession. But with the facts and data that I presented to you, let me know your thoughts in the comments. All right, I'm Emmett, broker at Combs Premier. We'll see you soon.